What is the best weapon in Planetside 2? That's a question I get asked a lot, so whilst I don't think there is any weapon that is the best, and most are well balanced, I do have a pack of favourites that for me are really fun to use. So sit tight as I list off my top 10 favourite weapons in the game, in no particular order. At number 1 we have the ACX-11, the New Conglomerate High Damage Carbine. There are other high damage weapons, but I do love the jetpack oh so much on the light assault, so the carbine variant edged it slightly. The weapon itself isn't exactly special to look at, it's just a slight deviation from the default mercenary carbine, but boy oh boy does it pack a punch. With a maximum of 200 damage per shot at 10 meters and 143 at 85 meters. If you can get those headshots, you'll be swimming in kills. What's the catch? Well, it has a smaller magazine size for one, there is quite a bit of recoil for a carbine, but nothing extreme, and it has a relatively slow rate of fire, but it really is a weapon that pays off for skill with the aim. If you can control your burst firing and your aim, you can make it a monster of a gun. And as a player honing their aim, it's just rewarding for something to tip its metallic hat at you for your hard-earned experience. Number 2 is the Phoenix rocket launcher for the NC. This is one of those that comes in purely at the fun level. This is because it's TV guided system that isn't seen anywhere else in the game. Basically you fly your projectile around, controlling it, and into your target. The thing is, I don't even particularly use it properly. I find firing this thing at tanks, unless coordinated, will just annoy the enemy, making them move away and out of your maximum range. The real fun comes in trying to snipe infantry or enemy air. When this weapon was first released, it was a menace because it one hit killed on most infantry, and now that isn't the case, so it isn't actually really that good at killing them. But in the occasional large engagements on hills or in the open, you'll have enemy infantry running through cover and taking some damage from your allies, and you can take advantage of their weakness and pick them off with careful piloted missiles. And this is one of my favourite mini games, I suppose you could call it, and the same can be said about killing air with it. Basically you have to guess how far they'll drift whilst hovering, and it takes some guesswork and a pinch of skill to get those hits. But if you do make contact, you get that satisfying thud and the celebratory kill pop-up on your HUD. You can also one-shot the pesky anti-vehicle turrets that will be annoying your allies in vehicles to no end, so you're quite useful too. 3 is the Nanite Systems Commissioner. This weapon has always been my trusty companion on most of my loadouts. It's Planetside's answer to the Magnum, and you really do feel like some desperado firing it off. It also rewards good aim as the shots have quite the kick and recentering time. It also has its own combos like a headshot and quick knife on most infantry classes. With infiltrators that aren't running the extra 50 shield module, you can one-shot them in the head with careful aim, and this is gunslinging bliss. It also looks like a monster being square and chunky, but painted in the noble white a lot of Nanite Systems weapons comes in. I actually for the most part prefer the white than having any other camo on it. It has been criticised as being too good, but mostly not in that it's overpowered, but a lot of the other pistols are underpowered. All that aside, I can't think of another companion better to accompany me in a last stand. 4 is a Terran Republic T7 mini chain gun. This is another weapon that is fun over real practical use, and if the ACX-11 rewards careful and skillful aim, the chain gun is the opposite. With a spin up time, it is best shot before you're even round a corner, and at its core, it is simply about getting as many bullets towards an enemy or where you think an enemy might be as possible. But this is why it can be a breath of fresh air from the tiring trigger discipline and aim of traditional weapons. There will be moments where you catch a group of enemies unawares, and as they all drop simultaneously to the hot spewing lead of order emanating from your barrel, and for a split second you'll be the macho action hero of yesteryear, Stallone and Arnie eat your heart out. At 5 is the SASR, the New Conglomerate's version of the close quarters bolt action sniper. Why is this weapon over the others? Well, the Ghost would take it in terms of weapon design, but putting up with the fart of a cloaking sound and their slightly irregular scopes just edges the NC variant. Close quarter sniping in the game is another high skill ceiling discipline that will tire you out, but is extremely rewarding when you pull it off. With shorter scopes than the normal bolt actions, you can kill people meters away with a quick snapshot, but only if you're quick enough and accurate enough to do so. It might be annoying to people that are on the receiving end, but as someone who does it quite a bit, when I get killed by a CQC sniper, I just have to congratulate them. They put in the time and the effort in to do that shots, and frankly, fair enough. 6 is the TR default T1 cycler, and you may be thinking, why is such a bland looking and default thing sitting on my list? Well, as all of my TR characters are a lower level, I play medic a lot for the padded XP, and honestly, the one thing I would sum up the cycler as is trustworthy. It's fast firing enough to make me feel like I'm shredding it down the range, and will always keep to where I want to fire it. It just feels right. Whenever I play TR medic, I don't feel hindered by the fact I don't have a jetpack or heavy shield for survivability. All I need to know is I have the old reliable by my side. And number 7 is the Lumine Edge, and this is the Vanu Sovereignty's version of the one-hit kill knives. I know what you're thinking, these weapons are frustrating to use because they have no swipe, and instead have a very short-ranged invisible bullet type thing. Well, I love the Stalker Cloak and knife combo, and without it, things get very messy swinging the non-instantly lethal knife at the backs of enemies. So whilst it may be a little derpy in the actual gameplay department, they allow me to become a true savage hunter, armed only with a melee weapon, stalking bewildered prey. You might also ask, why the Vanu variant? Well, whilst the TR Chainblade was up there as being a mini version of the Space Marines chainswords from 40k, they are ridiculously loud, and every enemy from Indar to Hossin probably knows you are nearby. Also, the Lumina Edge is practically the Planetside version of the lightsaber, with a light beam being projected in its center, and anything Star Wars-esque wins mega points in my books. It's why I actually forked out and bought the helmet that is basically a Stormtrooper mask for the TR2. In at spot 8 is the AF4 Cyclone, the high damage new conglomerate submachine gun. This weapon is much like the ACX-11 I've talked about before, with a smaller magazine, slower rate of fire, but high bullet damage, making it extremely rewarding for those who carefully aim. The high damage profile also makes it not too bad at range, with you being able to pick off the odd enemy more easily than you could some of the faster variants of SMGs. A lot of players pick this weapon up for heavy assaults over light machine gun variants because of how powerful it is close up and how it can still be quite viable at range, but personally I just stick to it with my infiltrator setup. I would still much prefer the larger magazines of LMGs and the potential to keep groups of enemies controlled or killed in most engagements, if not also a heavy assault too. Which leads me on to number 9, the Battle Goose, Battle Gweze, or Beetlejuice, however you might like to pronounce it. This is a Vanu Sovereignty's Directive LMG, which is earned by getting the Araxium medals for all of your other light machine guns. Its big draw is that it has the heat mechanic. The heat mechanic means you no longer have bullets and just either overheat your weapon, have to wait to cool it down, or manage properly, always being off cooldown, and you have effectively unlimited ammunition. Why the Battle Goose over the other VS heat weapons? Well, the Battle Goose is based on the default Orion LMG, which is also a joy to use. Also, I like the Araxium metal, the camo that shimmers in the faction's colours on the Vanu unlock weapons the most. On this faction it looks alien, but the other factions it's just a little messy and weird in my opinion. And the Battle Gweze has the largest surface area to show this off. So with this LMG I am glad I no longer have to see if anyone has any batteries. Finally, number 10 is the NS-11C, the Nanite Systems Carbine. Why the carbine over the other weapons? Well, like I said before, I just love jumping and jetting across buildings and the environment and getting the best vantage points possible. The NS-11C is a weapon that fires like a dream. You click and shoot at exactly the same spot sustained, and its motto is control. A lot of the other weapons in the game come quite heavy with their recoil, but with this it's a good transition from playing other more run and gun experiences. I find this weapon quite relaxing to use and smooth, especially if I feel my aim is off and just not getting any better that day. So those were my top 10 weapons in the game. What do you all think about my top 10? Do any of these make it into your lists, and what would your top 10 be? Be sure to let me know in the comments section below. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, and if you thought it was faction-sided, give it a dislike. If If you want to keep up with my content, hit that subscribe button. Thank you all very much for watching. Until next time, Joshino.